Welcome back to Freightwaves Live at Home. I'm George Abernathy, the proud president of Freightwaves, and we're going to continue to bring you incredible, timely, and informative content right now as I'm joined in this fireside chat by Dave Belter. Dave is the Vice President and General Manager of Global Transportation Management for Ryder System, Inc. Dave, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good to see you.
Thank you. Well, I want to make it very clear. I got it right. I've been told that Ryder System, there's no S on the end there, so we're doing a good job. We're coming out of the gate right on the accurate side. So Dave's going to take us on a journey today and address a really remarkable topic, the freight market during the upcoming wildest holiday season. And Dave, with your responsibilities in global transportation management, your customers, I'm sure, have been in a feast or famine. They've either been as busy as they've ever been, if not more, or some of them have really struggled and not have nearly as much need for capacity. So based on that experience that you've had, what does the market look like right now in this gearing up phase to the wildest holiday season we've ever seen?
Well, sure. If you look at the portfolio of our customers, we cut across a diverse set of verticals, industry verticals, from high tech to automotive, industrial, aerospace, retail, CPG. So we do touch a wide variety of different industries, and we all know that each industry was affected differently by the pandemic, i.e. the CPG vertical took off as the consumers were provisioning up for the shelter-in-place months. I guess it was September and April. I don't think I can even remember back that far. This pandemic's been with us so long. But if I look at our volumes, across the board, except maybe aerospace, volumes are up to 20 pre-pandemic levels, 2018 levels, and September was our busiest month yet in terms of volumes across the board. As I said, except sans aerospace, depending on who your customers were, we saw some of those customers' volumes still lagging, but auto's picking up, CPG retail, of course, is picking up, and high tech and that space has been steady throughout the pandemic, quite honestly. So we're expecting volumes to continue to increase as the economy continues to improve, with some thought about, we're watching the pandemic, and we don't have a crystal ball as to what's going to happen with any other lockdowns or shutdowns, and certainly the political climate may have something to say about that.
Absolutely. So as you work with your customers in those various different markets, and as you are in a really aggressive capacity market right now, what is Ryder doing with your customers during this season, specifically around trying to secure capacity for them?
That's a good question. Certainly, the market has been extremely tight, and our customers' networks have evolved coming out of the pandemic as well. We've seen lane shift and volume shift for some customers dramatically. Seen some big surges as inventories are being replenished, and some customers are being fulfilled from factory versus DCs. So a lot of shifting in the market. And as we talk to our customers or our carriers, they're seeing the same thing across their customer portfolio as well. So for us, it's all about using the data and monitoring the performance of the networks in real time, and understanding where the carrier portfolios may not be holding up to the volumes, and we're in it every day, all day, shoring up our contract lanes, adjusting, adding carrier capacity where we need it, trying to redirect carrier capacity to similar lanes for other customers where we don't need it, and it's an all-day, every-day process. And managing with that big data allows us to focus on those areas where we're going to make the biggest impact. We're trying to stay out of the spot market as much as possible, but as you know, in this market today, under these conditions, that's a difficult task to completely fulfill.
So as you've addressed, this white swan, black swan year, I'll leave it to others to decide whether it was a white or black swan, but all I know is I haven't seen anything like what we've lived through this year, and you're trying to, maintain, if not improve those service levels while, minimizing costs, which the spot market, by its nature, in this kind of time frame, is really gonna go against that. So, what are you using as far as, you mentioned data? What are you using as far as data and technologies now to help make those daily decisions more beneficial for your customers?
Well, certainly, we've got a data lake that's built off the back of our TMS application. So we're measuring the performance of our networks throughout the day, and certainly at the end of the day, we get a daily what we'll call a box score in terms of how our customer networks performed against the market. And we're first and foremost ensuring that we have capacity to fulfill the needs of our customers. And then we want that capacity at a competitive market price. And we want to stay out of the spot market as much as possible. So the data that we're producing through the execution of our customers' networks is the data that then we're using to present the performance of that network back to our project leaders and procurement leaders that then work to shore those networks up. So everyone in our organization is looking at the same score all day long and every day for the previous day, and we're using that score to continue to adjust the networks, and specifically the carrier capacity. For us right now, it's all about capacity. We know that when our prime carriers or first choice carriers are hauling our customers' freight, we're going to get the best service at the best price. And for those lanes that we're not, that portfolio is not able to handle all the volume, it's all about continuing to inject additional capacity, whether it's with the same carriers or we're bringing on additional carriers. We use that data. If you think about our networks, we're managing multiple networks in the same TMS, so we can see where all of our carriers are originating and terminating, and so we're trying to knit those networks together that we don't lose capacity. If we have carriers that are terminating in Indianapolis and we've got outbound freight out of Indianapolis, we're going to try and get that carrier to haul that freight under an acceptable contract rate.
How, Dave, is, we're talking a lot about, at least I'm thinking about in my head, thinking about the U.S. preponderantly. Are you seeing, and obviously with your global hat on, are you seeing the same kind of challenges being brought to Ryder customers in North America, or even expanding beyond that more globally? Is capacity similarly challenged in other geographies as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's lane specific, customer specific, and even specific to the cadence of the week and the month. Certainly end of month, end of quarter is much tighter than middle of the month, middle of the week, and we're seeing it across the board in all regions. Some better than others, but outbound freight out of the West Coast is extremely tight. We had some challenges at the border of Mexico and U.S. bringing freight into and out of Mexico. It got extremely tight with intermodal, and we were diverting volumes from intermodal to truckload and shoring that network up. That's subsided to some extent for our networks. It's a bit more under control, but again, that's where the data and the big data and having that information in near real time can really help us see where the lanes are moving on a daily basis, and having discussions with our project leaders about where we need to focus with respect to carrier capacity. My sense is we're going to be in this approach for the next couple of months, at least through a good part of mid-December. And we're expecting 2021 to maybe level out when we get into that first quarter, but time will tell. We'll see where we're at come end of November into December to make that call.
So, we typically think about Black Friday and then Cyber Monday, but it sure sounds like what's going on and what we've heard from other experts, that the pull forward in e-commerce has really caused the capacity crunch. So it sounds like, Dave, that we're already in the middle of some pre-Black Friday and things that are pulled forward from the Christmas season already, and you're already seeing that in what your customers are experiencing.
Oh, for sure, and it's certainly we're in a new day. This is unlike any other tight market, only in that we're in the middle of an economic recovery. The industrial sector isn't back all the way. You're right, e-commerce has changed some of the flows and the volumes a little bit, maybe unexpectedly. We certainly weren't planning on this in early 2020, and I'm not sure if anyone had a good sense of what the second half of 2020 was going to look like coming out of the pandemic. So we're really living this in real time and making adjustments kind of on the fly, quite honestly. As we talk to our carrier partners, they'll tell you the same thing. They're seeing new volumes, new lanes from their existing customers, unlike what they saw before during the initial phases of the shelter in place. A lot of their customers weren't shipping, and they found different ways to fill their trucks, and now they're continuing just to adjust as to meet as much of their customers' needs as they can. But they're challenged the same as shippers are.
So let's look at the future a little bit and maybe get specific to the managed transportation that you're providing so much value in. How do you envision growing Ryder's transportation management portfolio in the future? How do you see that occurring? You're broadening to different geographies with current customers, bringing in new customers more, embedding more of your technology. Where are those places that you really think that Ryder's going to make a difference in transportation management over the next few years?
Well, certainly, we're an asset-based and an asset-light company. So, we can bring our assets to bear. And as we look at how we knit our asset-light networks together, we're looking at how we do the same with our asset business. So even during this time where capacity is at a premium, and one of the things we're doing around freight matching is looking how we can match our capacity to our customers' freight in kind of the spot market, if you will. So where our dedicated fleets are running empty, we can make that capacity available to our managed trans customers. So for us, we look at our transportation portfolio of business, both our asset-light business as a single offering, and we'll continue to focus on growing that, I'll say, integrated business where we can bring our assets and our technology to bear, and really focus on knitting those networks together to find the greatest amount of synergy from the asset and the asset-light side, if you will.
So much of that is what you hear as a little bit of the siren song from the digital portfolios that are out there, but you're doing it. You're really, you are knitting those networks together and providing that value. I think it's great that we're having this opportunity for you to be able to describe that for folks who may not have thought that, too dramatically about Ryder. It seems to be that you guys are really delivering that kind of value.
Yeah, sure. And there's always room for improvement. That's a key focus of ours, though, moving into the into 21 and 22 is to digitize that and really leverage all that data that we collect across all of our transportation operations to where it's going to generate the greatest value for our customers. And we know there's more synergies to be had, and really the speed at which we can execute those day-to-day tactical decisions, taking that digitization approach that a lot of those decisions can be automated, quite honestly, and don't require humans to make that final point of execution. We'll let the technology do that for us. So that's a key area for us to focus on, and we're making improvements in that area every day. And to your point, data science and leveraging data is a big part of this. And we invested in our data science group 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, and they're really starting to pay dividends now.
Wonderful to hear. Well, they're tapping me on my shoulder and telling me that, unfortunately, we've run out of time. I want to thank Dave Belter, the Vice President General Manager of Global Transportation Management, for joining us, Freightwaves Live at Home. David, thank you so much for the time and really appreciate everything you've provided to us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, and I agree. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of Freightwaves Live at Home. Be well. Thank you.